Well, today I get to do some sketching while there's daylight, so I figured let's just use the natural light in here. But that doesn't give me any light and shadow on the inkwell pencil sharpener. So fortunately I have this nice daffodil light, and we will see what we can do with that. That's not bad. There's a little bit of a shadow in the front. What if I put the light on this side? Okay, then I get the nice shadow in the back. I don't want to pull it too far. Then I get a nice shadow in the back of the sharpener. But let's see, there are 3 settings here. Oh, that's brighter. Okay, so brighter highlights, of course. Oh, but this one I like the most because I get some nice light places in the shadow. I think I'll do. Now, the only problem with that, I'm going to do digital sketching today, and there's a nice bright glare on my iPad, which I'm gonna have to keep flat so I can sketch here. But let's see how we can adjust the light and see if I can have nice shadows on the object I'm drawing without having a glare on the iPad. That's pretty good. Shadows are different than before, because of course the more I have the light come from the front, the shadows are in the back, as opposed to when the light was coming from the side, shadows are on the other side. But since I've got the glare I need to get rid of, that's going to be annoying for me when I sketch, and probably annoying for you to look at. So let's see how we can do something with some shadowing and no glare. That is pretty good, I think. Not too low. Okay, we will go with that. So this is the same pencil sharpener that I sketched in my new sketchbook the other day, and I thought, I ran across a post online where people were discussing the question of whether you feel like your digital art is worse than your traditional art. It gave me the idea, you know what? Why don't I sketch this same thing that I just sketched with traditional art media, pens in the sketchbook, with digital art media? So I've got Procreate open, and I figured, you know what, let's go for it. Let's try it. Let's see what we think. So I will say, first of all, I don't know, when I hear to you, is your traditional art better than your digital art, or is your digital art worse than your traditional art? For me, I started out with traditional art media. That's what I learned to draw with, the sketchbooks, pencils, charcoal, all that stuff. And then kind of actually put off getting into digital art for a while. And I think I was actually at a figure sketching session, and somebody had, one artist had an iPad, and she had Procreate, and she had an Apple Pencil. And I watched her, and one of the model's breaks, I asked her, how is it to sketch with, and does it really feel like, traditional media? Does it feel the same as drawing? And what's the what does it feel like to draw on this very smooth screen? And she was really nice, and she let me try it out. She let me try out sketching on her iPad with the Apple Pencil and Procreate. And I really appreciated that, because I really wanted to see what it was like, and seeing what it was like helped me to realize, you know what? Yes, I could do that. Yes, that seems cool. And I ended up getting an iPad Pro, and I've got Procreate now. And I haven't sketched in it as much as I would have liked, of course. I think if you've got a non-creative day job, I think you can understand that sometimes we intend to get a lot more art making done in the week than we would like. We intend to get a lot more done than we actually accomplish. At least for me. But it's been fun so far. I really just look at it as a different medium. So, I mean, I understand. I think that's what most people mean when they say digital art is art done in digital media. Which, if you're getting into the hyper-realistic stuff, you can get things that look pretty similar. And even in some of the stylized brushes that maybe look more like watercolor or acrylic paints, you know, for people who are very, very experienced at using those, they could probably render something that looks similar to the traditional media on paper. So then, of course, specifying, well, this is digital versus this is traditional art makes a difference there, so people know where it was made. But yeah, for me, I just look at it as this is a different medium. Now, it has been a little bit of an adjustment to get used to, you know, drawing on this smooth surface, but I'm pretty used to it. It's not terrible. I don't expect it to be like paper. I think that's been helpful. I think that's probably pretty important. And, you know, there's so many brushes you can use. And I am working on trying more of a variety of brushes more often, so I kind of get to experience them and see what they're like. And I think there are a lot of things you can do with the digital. I love being able to use the different layers and, you know, draw over a sketch or color it in or ink it. And then I decide, you know what, I'm not sure I like how that looks. Let's just hide that layer. Let's just add another layer and try something different. You can't really do that in the same way with traditional media. So I really like that about it. I like that you can record, that Procreate automatically records the creation process so that I can go back and look at what I did. That's a nice thing that you could do if you set up something to record everything you made in traditional art media, but it takes a few extra steps. This is not the right angle here. So the ways you can use it, the things it allows you to do, I like better. But do I actually draw worse on the iPad in Procreate than I do in the sketchbook? I guess that's kind of a thing I'm maybe looking to disprove or prove here today. I don't know. I hadn't really thought of that. Do I draw worse? I kind of feel like I draw just the way I draw no matter what I'm using. When I started drawing with pen, I was worse than after a couple of years of drawing with pen, just because I wasn't used to the medium. You cannot erase, really, which it lends itself to, I think, helping you get over the perfectionist feelings that, oh, I've got to make it perfect, it's not right, let me erase it and do it over. You can't erase, you put it down and you're done with it. So you're either, the way I felt about it when I started sketching with pen, it was like I'm either going to obsess about getting it right, and I'm gonna take my time and just be really slow with putting anything down because I just really want to get it right, or I am going to just go with it and put something in and just maybe be loose and have more of a gesture approach to it and see what I get. And it took a while. It took a while before I liked my pen sketches because it was kind of rough at the beginning. And I think I had to develop an appreciation for the lines, the work, the gesturiness, if you will. I did try some filling in, like I'm kind of doing here, trying to fill in with the line to represent the different values and tone. And I tend to, I don't know, I tend to do this, and then I go, I don't really like the way this looks, but then I do it again later. So, you know, learning what I liked about pen was good, I think. But it did take a while before I felt like, okay, I'm getting something good here. And one of the things it really helped me with, this curve, was learning how to be disciplined to focus on what I want to emphasize. What I want to emphasize and what's important about this, exactly what I want to show. And not feel like I have to try and get everything in. And I think that was a really helpful experience. So, but definitely, you know, in the beginning with the pen, I did not like most of what I sketched at all. It was just like, oh, yuck. But, you know, I think what I found is as you keep going with things, as I keep going with things and I keep using them, I get better. With Procreate, it's really just been figuring out how to use this medium. You know, figuring out what the different brushes do, how much or how little pressure to put on the pencil, and whether I can do it different angles. Just learning that, you know. It's been helpful, but it's definitely part of the process of figuring out how to use it. And so I think getting to the point where I feel like I've learned more of that, my work has become better in Procreate. But I think that's just learning how to use the things. If you've drawn with pencils and you pick up a graphite bar, it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve to figure out what to do with this bar. It's not exactly a pencil. You can kind of try and use it like a pencil, but it also has different qualities and things that you can do with it that you can't do with a pencil. So I think there's just, you know, the learning part of it is good. But I wonder if you have started out with traditional media, whether it's pencils, pens, paper, basically, and then you transition to, I wouldn't say transition, I'm not giving up traditional media ever, but then you picked up digital media as well. What do you think? Does it feel very different to you to make something on an iPad or on a tablet, or even maybe on the computer with, you know, a stylus and some kind of a tablet or input device? Does it feel different to you? Or is it just, does it feel like a different process for making the art, or is it just a different medium to you? Medium. Let me know in the comments. I'd be interested to see if other folks who started with analog media feel that way. And likewise, if you started out with digital media and, you know, started drawing on tablet or computer, and then at some point you picked up pencil, sketchbook, charcoal, does that feel like a different art making process to you? Do you feel like how you do the things is that different, or is it just a different mode or way of doing it, the medium? Let me know what you think. That would be interesting. One thing I do on here is I erase. Cannot erase pen on the sketchbook, but this is actually a pencil I'm using here. But I do tend to erase a lot more on the iPad. It's a bit better on the center here. Actually, it shouldn't be that high. Too many times, and I probably had it all right the second time, which I could just go back, just undo until I get back to it, but sometimes I do that, but not today. Okay, that's a bit better. So, here. do like that it keeps a history of the colors I've used. That's helpful to be able to go back. When I free sketch, I tend to use the color circle, color wheel, I guess, more disc is what it's called here, than the palettes. But it's nice to be able to go back to that exact color you had before. So here, these shadows kind of like that. Bending is a paper towel bends. Kind of across the top here. Alright. That might be a little dark, we'll see. There's some light blue back here. Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's too blue. I don't normally use this smudge option, but it's not bad for softening up the shadows. This is just supposed to come up here. It's at a different angle than what I have. Shadow is too light, but it's in there to start. Let's, I feel like I need to get some tone across the whole of this sharpener. The shadow has to look darker than the light parts of the pencil sharpener. It's going to be hard to tell if my shadow is dark enough if I don't have the color of the sharpener filled in. That's pretty good. And I'll put some darks in here. Actually, the really darks are really cool. can see that compared to some of this shadowy color here, the shadow is not dark enough. So we'll come back to that and make it darker. This is going to be a bit weird here. Here too. Thinking about painting digital, that's a little different for me. That is where I would say it does feel like more than just a change of medium, or more than just getting used to how the pencil works. For me, when I paint with traditional media, I really enjoy the tactile feel of making marks with the brush, mixing the paint with the brush. And while you can make certainly wider marks with the pencil, it's still a pencil. There are many great new paint brush options, and the marks look similar to what you could do with a paintbrush. The fact is, with digital media, you are still using a pencil pen looking stylus. So now I do wonder if there were a paintbrush stylus that actually had bristles, and you could bend them and drag them and flip them and turn them and things like that. If you could actually use a stylus in the same way that you use a brush, would that feel more like painting digitally? That would be an interesting thing to see. I don't know if any such brush stylus exists, but it'd be interesting to see. I have to go darker to really get this in. To get the darkest blues in there. Excuse me. That's not quite the right color though. Let's back that off. Definitely using undo in this circumstance is better than trying to go in and erase. Of course, I wouldn't be able to erase just that color without the colors under it, so That's definitely a thing I think is better. No, it really is. It's not that dull either, it's just... It's more like that. That's something I would like to try. If there were a paintbrush stylus, that would be interesting to try and see. Oops, does that really feel like painting? Well, and then you could go further and have a palette knife stylus, and or if you do palette knife painting, see if that's similar. So I guess I would say it's about what you're using to make the marks. That feels, I don't know. Like I said, it's not that different from drawing or with drawing with pencils and pens. It's still a bit different than drawing with charcoal or a non-pencil medium like a graphite bar or a Conte stick or something. But with painting, it's it's just a very different tactile feel. So that to me, I don't know. I almost want to say probably a very unpopular opinion, but I don't. Well, I will say for me, no matter what paintbrush I use in Procreate, I don't really consider this a painting. I would just probably say generically, digital art. I can tell you which paintbrush I used. Being a brush that these are all brushes, even the drawing ones. But I don't know. To me, I don't really consider it a painting in the same way. Again, just because the way it's made it just feels different to make. So, okay, that's better. Getting more of the darks in there. This is definitely taking longer than I planned to take with this first one. Because I'm filling the whole thing in. But I think I'll do the next two just to speed things up a bit. Wait and do the highlights last. So I've got to get everything else in here as dark as it needs to be to have the highlights pop out on. And I have to add in the shavings because they are in, well, I don't have to, but it's going to be much easier to get this to look like what I'm looking at if I add in some darkness in the middle here to represent the shavings that are still in the sharp. I know there's a textured, I think it's like a paper texture, like screen protector, or that you can get and put on the iPad, and then that's supposed to make it feel more like drawing on paper. I haven't really looked into those because I thought let's just get used to this and see, what do I think of this? Do I like it? Is it something I can deal with? But that might be interesting to try too. It's maybe might make it feel more like drawing on paper, but again, to me, drawing on glass is just a little getting used to, and it's not bad, not that different. Okay. Some of the places I went over earlier, since I made other things sharper, they're not quite dark enough now. So there's the going back over them again. Well, I'm trying to hold off judgment until I get the highlights in, but gotta go back to the shadows. Definitely not dark enough right now. Well, I know it's going to be a little bit brighter than it really is on the screen, but I don't like it. Kind of in the same way I don't really like the nail polish bottles I did the other day that I filled in with the pen. I think it's that, I don't know if you can see the texture, I'll put a close up at the end, but I don't really like the texture of it. I think I like the cap more than the bottle itself, but the next ones I'm not going to fill in all the way. It was fun starting with the blue. I think I will start with the blue, but I think I'll just do lime. So far for this one, do I feel like my digital art is worse than my traditional art? Yes. I feel like this one is worse than those, definitely. But no big deal. Let's see what we do with the next one. Let's get see. So I've done the Derwent pencil from, the sketching and, inking. Let's do a gel pen. let's do something different. So I'm just going to pick one color and have some fun with line. Oh, that's a bit too big. That's better. All right. Oh no. I forgot to turn that setting off. Maybe it will straighten the line for you, which is really helpful sometimes, but not for what I want to do right now. Sketches, maybe just a little here. I don't know if I like that shadow. Maybe it just needs to be lighter. There's not a whole lot I can do with the form in this area. Well, let's see. Oh, that's not better. I'm gonna fill this in. I guess that's it. Does feel like I should have it darker. Well, maybe that's it for that one. I like it better than the first one, but I don't like it as much as the ones in the sketchbook. I think today this is my favorite of these three. Well, let's try one more. Let's try... Drawing? Totally drawing brushes I have right now. Let's see what this is like. Oh, that's kind of fun. Let's try that. Ooh, it's smaller. Oh, it's not as much fun when you make it smaller. Okay. It's too big. Well, let's try it. And let's change this one more time. Just because it's fun to have a different angle. your time. That's one plus for the digital media, though. I don't feel like, I wouldn't say wasting sketchbook pages at this point, but I'm not running out of pages. As long as I have memory on the tablet. Or space, storage space, I guess. I'm not going to run out of space, so I can always try. Wrong color. I can always try something else. Oops. How did I get to the orange? Okay. It's not that cool, the blue. Maybe. Oops. Slightly smaller brush. I'm really trying not to fill this all in with tone, but it feels really strange just being all white like that. Oh, I forgot. Did I sharpen it? Sorry about the sharpen. Let's see. Let's put that in. And the reflection of the Well, this is more tone than I intended to use, but let's just try and start so we'll see what we think. It's kind of hard to tell the difference between the edge of the bottle down here and the shadow. Okay, that's it. Well, I don't like that either. Oh well. Okay. Do you feel like your digital art is worse than your traditional art? Today, about these 3 digitally rendered sketches versus these 3 traditionally rendered sketches? Yes, I feel like I'll rephrase it the other way to be more positive. I feel like my 3 pen sketches are definitely better. Let's see if I can, oh no, the daylight's about gone. Alright, I'll have to turn the light on and give you a better view. But today, I definitely feel like my pen sketches are better than the digital ones. But I will say, it was fun to try out some different things. You know, something about my propensity to want to fill things in says, hey, you should probably break out some paints. My nice gouache shot over here, which I've been wanting to do. Maybe I'll do some of that later. But this one is my favorite of these 3. This one is my least favorite. It was a new brush. It was a completely new texture. I guess this is more like a, maybe a pastel on some rougher paper would look similar. So, I don't want to beat myself up too bad, trying something new. And, you know, maybe I needed to draw bigger and give myself more space to make lines like this. Or maybe it's just not really meant for line. I don't know. I don't want to say it's not meant for line drawing. I think you should be able to do line drawing with almost anything. But yeah, I like this one the most of these 3. And I like all of these 3 better than all of these 3. So today it's traditional media. We'll see. Oh wait, this is let me sign it in the pen. Not sign it, just put the date on it. It's one of the ways you can track your progress is if you put a date on things. 3/3/25. So maybe I will. Which brush was this? That was painting. No, it wasn't painting. It was a drawing. Evolve. Maybe we'll try the Evolve brush later on in the month. Maybe we'll try it a lot and figure out what I can do with it that I do like. I don't know. I know I like the gel pen. And this was a Derwent pencil. And I will say this does look like, well, most of these things do. These things look like what I would expect to see. They look pretty similar to what I see on actual sketchbook paper. So, yeah. 3 more tries at the inkwell. And today, traditional media is giving me a better result than digital media. We'll see what tomorrow brings. If you stuck with me this long, thanks. Leave me a comment. I'll put some better images here so you can see without the weird brightness that the tablet is giving. But let me know which is your favorite, the traditional or the digital. And is there one of the 3 that you like best of all?